Welcome to How to Play Piano Lesson 25, where you'll have the opportunity to review everything that you've learned and test your skills. But before we do that, let's just check in with our posture. Make sure your back is straight, your neck is long, your feet are flat on the floor, your forearms are angled down towards the keys or level with the keys, and you've got dome-shaped hands, curved fingers, and of course those lovely relaxed wrists. You're also feeling positive and relaxed and ready to focus on reviewing all the skills that you've developed to this point. Let's warm up first of all. We're going to do our hand and exercise today, 1 octave, but we're going to put our hands together. So remember, when we begin our exercise, we start with our little finger and our thumb. We skip a note, go all the way up to the end of our fingers, come back down and skip another note. Let's do it together straight away. 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent. Remember, it's all about control and making sure that those notes are sounding at the same time. No need to go fast in order for it to be very effective. Alright, that's our hand and exercise. Might as well do some scales as well. Let's do our C major scale 1 octave. Hands together, straight away. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll do our G major. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once more for good luck. Good. Let's do our contrary motions. 1 octave, C major. 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent. And G major. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. And let's do a couple of arpeggios. C major arpeggio. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once more. Good. And let's do a G major arpeggio. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again. Excellent. Last time we looked at intervals and we played the song Lavender's Blue. Here's the music. Have a pause and have a play and see how you go. Here's my interpretation for today. And why did I say today? Because if I play the same piece tomorrow, it will be slightly different. How did your interpretation compare with mine? Were your chord notes sounding at the same time? Could you hear the level of sound changed as you played that gradually softer at the end of our tune? Was the music flowing smoothly along? Did you feel that your performance created the character that you wanted to communicate? Could you manage to go from start to finish at a fairly consistent tempo without too many stops and starts along the way? If you're not sure about how you're going with this tune or any others that you've been learning, remember you can always send me your audio or video recordings for free coaching and feedback. You can also post videos of your performance onto our How to Play Piano and Keyboard private Facebook gallery. Here's today's tune, Blow the Man Down. A chance for you to have a go at learning this song on your own. If you'd like to test the skills that you've developed so far, pause this video at this point and use the sheet music on the screen or download the PDF to work through our processes to create your own interpretation of this song. If you prefer to learn this song with me, as we normally do, where I show you my interpretation and then go through the music line by line, don't pause the video at this point. The choice is yours. Let's have a look at the sheet music of this lovely old tune as a whole. You can see that we've got the treble and bass clef, we've got no sharps and flats at the beginning of our music, so there's no key signature. We're starting on a C note in our bass, we're ending on a C chord, so we must be in the key of, again, yes, you guessed it, C major. We've got a time signature of 3/4, so we're counting 3 beats in a bar. It looks like our first note is starting on beat 3, so we've got a little pickup note or an anacrusis at the start of our song. If you scan through the music, you can see it looks like we've got the melody in our right hand and we've got accompanying chords in our left hand. In fact, we've got our good old pa bass back. We've got a whole lot of different sorts of notes. We've got some crotchets in there, some quavers. We've got our dotted crotchet back again. We've even got some dotted minims. As far as the dynamics go, we've got an F at the beginning of the music, which means, as you remember, loud. So this needs to have a fairly deep level of sound, and really nothing much changes until we get to the last line. We've got a pause at the beginning of our last line, so we need to hold on to those notes for as long as we want to, and we've got a bit of a slow down ritardando at the end. So no real change in dynamic level. We've got some great big long curved lines. These are legato slurs, but they also might indicate the phrasing of this music. We'll find that out as we go along. And we've got the tempo marking moderately fast. So this tune needs to move along at a fairly good pace. Here's my interpretation. Let's have a look at the sheet music in more detail. Instead of looking at this song line by line, we're going to look at one phrase at a time. If we have a look at the way that the tune pans out in this song, the great big curved lines also indicate our phrasing. And the way the sheet music's been set out, our first phrase starts on the first line and then the beginning of it continues on to the second line. But rather than look in the first and second line as a whole, we'll just do a phrase at a time. If we have a look at the beginning of our first phrase, again, I said we've got a pickup note. We're starting on at the third beat of the bar with our fourth finger on the G. 3 and. Our next note, again, is the G, but it's a dotted crotchet. And if you remember, the dot increases the value of the note by half. So we need to hold that next note, the first beat of our bar, for 1.5 beats. 1 and 2, the next note, that A with our little finger comes on the 2 and beat, and then the final note back to the G with your fourth finger is on beat 3. I'll do that little bit again. 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. In the next bar we've got E with our second finger, 1 and, down to middle C, 2 and 3 and. In the third bar, back to the G, 1 and 2 and 3 and at the end of that little phrase we're back to the E with our second finger. I'm counting all the ands because the smallest note in that little phrase is a quaver, and quavers are worth half a beat. So the easiest way to work out how to count is to look for your smallest note and break the music down according to that. I'll play that first phrase again. 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3, 1, 2. And we'll stop there for a minute because that's the end of our phrase. You have a turn. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3, 1, 2. Good, let's do it together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 1, 2. Good, let's have a look at the left hand. We've got, we're starting on beat 1, we've got our little finger on C, and then we've got our third finger on E and our thumb on G. So a nice little C chord, but in an pa pattern. So we play the C on beat 1, 1, and then our interval, which is an interval of a 1, 2, 3, of a third, 2, 3, on beats 2 and 3. And again, you probably remember in the past I've said you can either choose to play them one beat at a time, or if you want to get a bit of a fuller sound, leave your little finger on that C and play the other two while you hold that down. It's up to you, depends what sound you want. I think in my interpretation, most of the time when I do an pa pattern, I actually hold down that bottom note, just to fill the sound out a little bit, but it's up to you. All right, let's have a look at that first phrase in the left hand. I think it's pretty much all C chords with an pa pattern. Let's go, me first. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and then a rest on beat 3. Let's do that together. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and then a rest. Excellent. Have a pause and have a play of the first phrase with your hands separately. Let's put that first phrase together nice and slowly. Me first, then you. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3, 1, 2. We'll stop there at the end of the phrase. So you can see it's quite busy, this song. We've got bits and pieces happening in the left hand and quite a bit happening in the right hand as well. Let's do that together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2. Good. And our dynamic marking is F, so you can play that quite deeply. Have a pause and have a play of that first phrase with your hands together. Let's have a look at the second phrase. We're starting on the 3 and with our thumb on middle C and our second finger on the E. 3 and then we go up to the G, and remember it's a dotted minim. Minims normally last for 2, a dotted one lasts for 3, so we hold that beat for the whole bar. 1, 2, 3. In the next bar we're going up to A with our little finger. 1, 2, 3. Then in the last bar on that line we're back to F with our third finger on beat 1, 2 and 3, and to finish off that phrase, our thumb on the D. I'll do that again. 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3. You have a go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2. And we'll leave the phrase there. We'll do it together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2, 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2. Good. Let's have a look at the left hand. We've got our C pa again, the first couple of bars of that phrase. 1 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Then we change to a G7. So we're popping our little pinky down on the B, and then beats 2 and 3, we've got our second finger on the F and our thumb on the G. And the next bar at the end of that phrase, the same. I'll do that again from the beginning of that phrase. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You have a turn. Oh no, let's do it together. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Excellent. Have a pause and have a play of that second phrase with your hands separately. Let's put that second phrase together nice and slowly. Me first, then you. 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2. And we'll leave it there. You have a go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, and we'll leave it there. Let's do it together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2. Good. Have a pause and have a play of the second phrase with your hands together, and then have a go at phrase 1 and phrase 2 with your hands together. Let's have a look at the third phrase. We're on D with our thumb and starting on beat 3. 3 and 3 more D's coming up. 1 and 2 and 3 and up to the F with your third finger. 1 and 2 and back to the D. 3 and back to the F. 1 and 2 and 3 and at the last note of that phrase we're going up to A with our little finger. It's got a pause over it so we can hold it for as long as we like. I'll do that again. 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and hold it for as long as you want. Good. You have a go. 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and A with a big pause. Good, let's do it together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2, 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2, 3. Excellent. It looks like in our left hand we've just got that same G7 papa thing happening the whole way through. If we have a look, we're starting on this at the beginning of that third phrase, which is the end of the bar of the third line. How confusing is that? And then we've got one of these followed by another one and a third one, and then at the end of that phrase we're playing them as a chord. Remember, a chord's 3 or more notes played together at the same time, and again it's got a big long pause on it. Let's do that together, starting on the beat 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, big pause. Excellent. Have a pause and have a play of that third phrase with your separate hands. Let's put that third phrase together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, big pause. Fabulous. Have a pause and have a play of that third phrase with your hands together, and then have a go at playing phrase 1, phrase 2 and phrase 3. And we're back for our last 4-bar phrase. Let's have a look at the right hand. We've got our fourth finger back again on that G. We're doing 3 of those. 1 and 2 and 3. In the next bar, keep going. 1, 2, down to the F on beat 3. Then we've got E, 1 and 2 and 3, and drop your thumb down to the middle C. 1, 2. Now that's a minim at the end, only 2 beats because the rest of that bar is the pickup note at the start of the song. Let's do that let's do that phrase together. 1 and 2 and 3, and 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3, and 1 and 2 and 3, and 1, 2, and then we've got beat 3 at the start. Let's have a look at the left hand. We're just doing our G umpapa again. Let's do it together straight away. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we're just ending with a C chord that we've played many, many times before. Alright, have a pause and have a play of that last phrase with your hands separately, and then we'll come back for the last bit and put it together. Here we go, last phrase, hands together. Me first, then you. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 and 3, and 1 and 2 and 3, and 1, 2, 3. You'll notice at the end of that line that we've got a ritardando, so we can slow down and let everyone know the song's coming to an end. Let's do that together. 1 and 2 and 3, and 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 1, 2. And if that's the end of our song, we can hold on to that for as long as we want. Excellent. Alright, so you're now in a position to have a go at playing the whole piece through 2 hands together. Have a pause and have a play and see how you go. Remember, the last couple of times I've been looking at musical character, and I mentioned that your sheet music is really just a place for your own creativity to start. Make sure you overlay your own musical ideas and pick a tempo that suits the character and the story that you want to communicate with this little song. Remember, there's no right or wrong way to play this piece, there's just your way. I played mine moderately quickly because I feel for my interpretation I'd like this piece to move along, but that's just me. Yours might, could, would and should be different. Be a great time now to pause and play some of your music from previous lessons just to keep them fresh in case someone asks you to sit down and play for them. That's it for this lesson. Make sure that you feel completely comfortable with the skills that we've looked at today before moving on. Next lesson we're going to learn a new articulation called staccato.